Assalamu alaikum students, this is Majid Tahir, your teacher for computer science. Today we are doing P2, Algorithm and Basics of Computer Programming. The course code for levels is 2210 and 0478 for IGCSE. So first of all, we are going to talk about algorithms. An algorithm is a sequence of steps to perform some task. Algorithm is a process to be followed to perform a task. So we have different types of algorithm. First of all, we have flowcharts, then we have pseudocodes, and then we have program code. Then we have flowcharts. Flowchart is a graphical representation of a program. Flowchart uses different symbols containing information about steps or sequence of steps. So first we are going to see the flowchart symbols. First we have flow lines. These are arrows that tell you that the program, the flow of data from one side to another side. We will see that these arrow lines or flow lines when we see the flowcharts. Then we have a terminator symbol, which is start or stop. Then we have input symbol or output symbol, which is the parallelogram over here. If you see, the same symbol is used for input and the same symbol is used for the output. So when we have input symbol, if we have to give some input, we will write down input in it. And then let's suppose I'm going to input marks. So input marks. And if I'm outputting something, I will make the same symbol, write down output in it. And let's suppose I will say output your marks. And then I say our marks, whatever variable marks will have, marks will be displayed. Then we have a process symbol. Process, any process is represented in a rectangle. Then we have another symbol in rectangle called subroutine or procedure or function. Subroutine is also, or a procedure or function, we also call it a predefined process. So procedure or function is basically we call it a predefined process, which is already defined in the system. There already some function already defined, already made that you're using, or a procedure that is already created in the computer and you're calling it and you're using it. Then we will use this predefined function symbol. It's the same function, it's the same symbol. Only the difference is that process symbol is simple rectangle and the predefined function has two lines in it. Then we have a decision symbol. Decision symbol is always used with condition statement. So it is always have two options, yes or no. Mostly condition statements use conditional statements use decision symbol. There are two possibilities, either yes or no. So if the condition is true, it goes to yes. If the condition is false, goes to no. Then we have pseudocode. Pseudocode is an outline of a program or rough draft of the program. Pseudocode uses keywords commonly found in high-level programming languages, but without being bound to the syntax of any programming language. So pseudocode is a generic code, and pseudocode doesn't use any specific syntax. Rather, pseudocodes has its own syntax, which is given by the Cambridge. So we will be following that syntax. There are some variations in pseudocode, we can do that, but we follow a specific syntax of pseudocode in Cambridge. So we are going to look at that. Now, important thing is that we have to know what is a variable, what is a constant. So first we are going to see what is a variable. So variable is a data holder or a location where user can input a value. Variable's value can change while the program is running, means it can vary. So over here you have three variables. For example, first we have a variable of variables, kind of a box where you can input any value. You can input anything in it, and the value can change while the program is being executed, while the program is in the running state. Let's suppose you have a variable of name. So name variable can store name of the student, name of the person. A person can input anything in it. For example, Bob is going to put his name in it. Ali will put his name in it. So variable can go, any value can go in the name, any name can go in a variable of name. Another variable of this stores 35. Let's suppose a variable of marks. User can input his marks in this variable. There is another variable, for example, which stores true or false. We can say it as regular. This variable will have a Boolean value in it, means it can store a true or false. Means while if student is regular, it can store true. If student is not regular, it can store false. Then we have constants. Now constant is just like variable. They are data holders. They can hold some value, but the value of the constant does not change while the program is running. So value of the constant will stay same while the program is running. Before the program is executed, the value of constant must be known. So normally what happens is that when programmer is making a variable, normally programmers initialize variables value as 0. For example, if programmer is making a variable of marks, normally it has 0, then user input something in it. User input his marks. For example, user will put 99 in it, so the marks will change and 99 will go in instead of 0. Now it will hold 99. While constant stores a value which user will not enter, rather programmer will fix the value. For example, let's make a constant of gravity. So gravity will have a value of 9.8. Now we know that value of gravity is fixed. We don't need to get the value from the user. We can fix the value of gravity and we can use it in the program. So we normally keep constants as the values which normally do not change. Then we are going to talk about arithmetical operators. Now, arithmetical operators are the operators that we use in computers. They are a bit different than the arithmetical operators used in mathematics. First, arithmetical operator is the exponent operator that we are using in computers. We know that exponent for mathematics, if you write exponent, let's suppose if you write down 2 raised to power 3 in maths, in computers we use this operator. So in computers we have to write down 2 cap 3. Now this 3 goes in the exponent portion and this 2 is basically the base, and the cap tells that after the number that comes after the cap is going to be the power or the exponent. Okay, so then we have addition, same addition operator. Then we have subtraction, same operator that is used in maths. Then we have multiplication. This is a little bit different as maths. Now the multiplication we use is static. It is little bit different than maths. In maths we write down, for example, 2 multiplied by 3 is equal to 6. So in maths we use multiplication with cross, but we do not use this for multiplication in computer science, because this is used for letter X in computers. So we use static instead. So 2 multiplied by 3 is given by static, multiplied by 3 is equal to 6. So static is used for multiplication. Then for division we have 2/2. For example, in maths we write down 2 divided by 2. But in computers we write down 2/2. So this is the division operator. So this is the division operator. Then we have comparison operators. Comparison operators are greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to. Now in maths, greater than equal to is given by greater than equal to like this, and less than equal to in maths is written by this. But we do not use these operators, right? In computers we use greater than equal to and then less than equal to in CS, and this is for maths, right? So there is a little bit difference when you write on the computer program. You have to make sure that, because we do not have this sign or this sign in the keyboard, we use greater than, and then we use equal to, like this. Then equals to, same like mathematics. And not equals to, also in mathematics we have not equals to like this, but we do not have this sign on the keyboard, so we use these two brackets together for not equals. All right. For grouping statements, we use the brackets just like maths. And, or, and not are logical operators. So we will be seeing that in more in the conditional statements. All right, the assignment is when you're assigning a variable a value. For first time, when you're creating a variable and when you're assigning a value in it, we call it assignment operator. We use this operator as assignment operator. For example, count is equal to 1. You can also write down count is equal to 1, also understood and also correct in the pseudocode, but this is called assignment operator. So count is being assigned a value of 1, means that 1 is given to count. Then we have initialization. Initialization is when you create a variable or you make a variable, you initialize that variable with some initial value. Let's suppose you made a variable of marks. Now this variable is kind of a box, doesn't have anything. You initialize, does not have anything in it. You initialize this with a very initial value of 0. Then the user is going to input its value in it. User is going to input his marks. The user can input 100 in it. The value will change then. Later on, first it was initialized with 0, then it was changed to 100. If somebody has, for example, mistakenly a user has input a value of, let's suppose, 1000, and there is a check that user cannot input less than 0 or more than 100, then program will ask user to redo another value and user can input 99 or 100 in it. So you see, variable the value of a variable will keep on changing while the program is running. So count is initialized with 0, marks is initialized with 0. You can also initialize a value with some bigger value. For example, count down, you're using a variable to count down something. So count down will have a value of 100 and it can, later on subtract some value and count down becomes, every time it counts down, it subtracts 1 from it. So countdown can be used like that. So initialization is basically you initialize a variable with an initial value. All right, now we are going to talk about the keywords found in the pseudocode. So pseudocode use input, read and enter. All three keywords can be used for inputting, but most common is input. So we will be using input in the pseudocode, which is used by the Cambridge. And for outputting, we mostly use output. We also use write and print, but in Cambridge, we mostly use output and print. So you will be seeing output or print mostly used in the pseudocodes. Totaling means that you are, adding some value in it. For example, there is a variable of total, and you keep on adding some marks in it, and you're calculating class total. So every marks of each student is adding in the total, and in the end you'll have a complete total of class total. So this is called totaling, when total is being added with another number and being assigned back to the total. Sometimes then there is a question in the exam. For example, total is equal to number 1 plus number 2. Now this is not total. This is a process. It is a process. It's not total, right? So this is not total. This is not total. Total is total plus marks. This is total because total is being added with some marks and being assigned to back in the total. So this is basically how totaling works. So you have to make your understanding very clear that totaling, when you're talking about totaling, so total is then whatever variable you're using in the totaling, that variable will be added with any value and will be given back to the same variable. Then we are going to talk about counting. Sometimes necessary to count some things. So counting, same way, counting is equal to count plus 1. So when you're counting up, count plus 1 will be given back to the counter. So you see the same thing. Count plus 1 is given back to count. So count is being incremented. Now we're going to talk about basic data types. When you're creating a variable, you have to tell computer that what kind of data it is going to hold. So integer stores the whole numbers, real stores a decimal number, string stores any text character or a number or a special character or anything, but it will be considered, even if a number is stored as a string, it will be treated as a text. Char can store any single character. You can keep only one character, M for male, F for female, anything. Boolean stores true or false. Date stores the date. Now let's see, for example, let's see the value. Integer can be any whole number. 22 can be integer. Real can be any decimal number. 22.5. String can be a name, Ali. Char can be M. Boolean can be yes or a no. Date can be 1, 20, 26. So you see, this type of a data can be stored in this data. So basic data types, when you're making a variable, you have to tell computer what kind of data it is going to store. All right, now we are going to talk about declaring variables. Declaring variables mean that we are creating a variable. First, when we're creating a variable, first keyword that we use is the declare keyword that tells the computer that we are creating a variable. Then the variable name is going to come, and then the variable's data type. Now declare index colon integer, declare grade colon integer, declare counter colon integer. You can declare is the keyword that tells you that you're creating a variable. Then for example, I am creating another variable of declare. The name of the variable comes, for example, marks, and I'm going to store real data type, mean my marks can store decimal numbers also, to declare marks as real. So this column and then data type. So if you have all three variables of the same data type, you can store them in a single line as this. For example, declare index, grade, counter. You can separate them with a comma, and then the integer. So all these three data types, these three variables can be stored in a single line if they have the same data type. If data type is different, then you have to store them, then you have to declare them separately. But if data type is same, then you can store or declare them in the same line, separated by a comma, and then giving a data type. Now declaring constant is same as declaring variable. Only the difference is that constant, we know that they do not change at the runtime, so you have to give them a value. For example, constant keyword, and then name of the constant and the value of the constant. For example, constant pi is equal to 3.14, or pi is equal to 3.1415, or let's suppose I'm creating a constant. So the keyword constant is going to be constant. Name of the constant, for example, I'm making a constant of gravity, arrow, and then value, which is going to be 9.8. So you write down the constant keyword, and then the name of the constant and the value of the constant. So programmer normally gives that in the program.